and to employ those resources, the minerals, the fishery, the forestry, with hydroelectricity as the long-term energy source.
Cabot Martin, to my right, is the legal advisor for the Minister of Mines and Energy.
Given the state of employment and economic situation in Newfoundland, obviously we would prefer to have an early development of offshore oil and gas. On the other hand, the kinds of traditional stimulus that governments have offered oil companies to come and develop resources such as tax breaks, easy terms, and this sort of thing, have in many countries led to the thing we didn't want, which was an overheated economy and a boom and bust situation. So these were typically two of the conflicting objectives or policy aspects that we found ourselves with. But anyway, we did go through a process, and we developed some policy objectives, and we embodied them in regulations and in draft regulations, and we negotiated with the companies. I think we must remember that apart from the Upper Churchill, maybe the Romaine diversion and Gull, we are dealing with some on a scale attractive resources, but nothing like what we're talking about at the Upper Churchill. The Upper Churchill stands out as being so different in its cost to value ratio that everything else pales into consideration. So in addition to the heating our homes and cooking some grub and providing some jobs list, I think we have to add, perhaps at the top of the list, the economic rent, which is now being collected in various manners by Quebec from the Upper Churchill contract. Now, it is true that we were discussing this afternoon. If we were to collect this economic rent, what would we do with it? How would we apply it? Would we spend it wisely? Would we just spend it on expensive infrastructure, more grand buildings like we're in now, or would we change the industrial structure of the province? That's for the wisdom of our leaders. But what is very apparent is that if we were, for instance, to have the right of recall, we could not possibly recall 4,800 megawatts of power fast enough to make much difference. 4,800 megawatts of power is something like 16 aluminum smelters. Howard McIntyre down there can correct me. Maybe it's only 12. But in other words, it is a great deal of power which we could not possibly build the industry in the short term to absorb.
Possibly because of the nature of Prince Edward Island. It is a small island. People are stubborn, prefer to do their own thing. The island is rural. It does rely on agriculture and fisheries, and then tourism comes next in terms of generating income. I forgot government. I guess that's number one. So as a result of these things, it was very easy to say no to large development. There's no large energy source there appears to be no prospects for large development.